Shalom. What is evil? So, we're going to tackle this topic about evil where we can find some in the scriptures, right? Do we think that evil is just how the world portrays it as a person that has horns, something like that? However, the Bible speaks differently about that, right? This is the book of Matthew, chapter 5, and verse 37. But let your communication be yes and no, for whatsoever is more than this cometh of evil. So, what does that um, implicates, right? Well, to me, it implicates confusion, evil. Not just confusion, but also disobedience. This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 13, and verse 15. In those days, so what I'm talking about is the account of where the Israelites were doing heavy burdens on the Sabbath, right? And we can find how this is evil. So continuing, in those days I saw in Judah some treading wine presses on the Sabbath, and bringing in sheaves and lading asses, as also wine, grapes, and figs, and all manner of burdens. What is a burden? Burden is a laborious work or hard work, you know, something that challenges you, or something that is heavy, laborious work, heavy load, source of distress, right? It's many things, which they brought into Jerusalem on the Shabbat day. And I testified against them in the day wherein they sold victuals. Watch this, okay? Verse 16. Let's jump to verse 17. Then this is Nehemiah, I believe this is Nehemiah. And then I contended with the nobles of Judah and said unto them, what evil thing is this that ye do, and profane the Sabbath day? Right? Again, what evil thing is this that you do and profane the Sabbath day? Right? So, evil can be defined as what? Disobedience, right? So, we first establish that evil can be confusion. Next, evil can be um, disobedience, right? Now, next thing. So, this is the account when Saul disobeyed the command of God to slay the Amalekites, right? First Samuel chapter 15, verse 20. And Saul said unto Samuel, yes, I have obeyed the voice of the Lord, which is no, right? He didn't slay the Amalek, and have gone the way which the Lord sent me, and have brought Agag, the king of Amalek, and have utterly destroyed the Amalekites. Well, he didn't destroy the king of Amalek. Verse 21. But the people took of the spoil, sheep and oxen, the chief of the things which should have been utterly destroyed, to sacrifice unto the Lord thy God in Gilgal. So this is Samuel's rebuke. And Samuel said, had the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice. And this is the main point, verse 23. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, right? Disobedience is also rebellion, stubbornness, right? And as witchcraft, what does witches do, right? They put stuff inside a cauldron. They what? Mix stuff. It's the same as confusion. They mix stuff, right? So evil can mean chaos or confusion. It starts first, of course, with disobedience and just relying on yourself, and that's what confuses you, right? It's the same thing when God says God will send what? A strong delusion, right? You're gonna get delusional, you're gonna get confused, right? You're gonna get delivered by a evil thing, right? Continuing, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry, right? To be idol, to do idolatry is to be without God, right? And to be without God, there's no order, there's no light, there's no life, there's no light in you, right? That's why we are what? Destroyed, right? My people are what? Destroyed for a lack of knowledge, right? Again, because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he had also rejected thee from being king, right? He lost that crown, right? He lost that incorruptible crown. And Saul said unto Samuel, I have sinned, for I have transgressed the commandment of the Lord and thy words, because I fear the people and obey their voice, right? So that's our definition for evil, right? Evil can be confusion, evil can be what I mean by confusion is confusion with intent, right? People will with intention, like the so-called white man will confuse you, will use what? Deception, right? But you know Bible says by their fruits you will know them, and you must ask them with a yes or no. They don't answer, then that's the possibility of evil, right? Because they don't allow it, and at the same time they're making claims, right? That's why I sometimes say that unanswered questions lead to unhealthy conclusions, right? Because that defiles or that damages or that confuses your mind, right? That's why I always ask questions, right? To have a better clarity, right? So that's our meditation for today, right? To know what is evil. Because once you know what is evil, you can then determine who is your enemy, right? So, the praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai.